What are you thinking about? Everything.
Stop.
I can't stop on some I think, therefore I am type stuff. It's how I know I'm real. I mean, asking me to stop thinking is like asking a shark to stop swimming. I'll die. Oh, okay. So you're the thinker now. Well, tell me, Mr. Thinker. Now I know what you're probably wondering. Isaiah, what are you thinking about? A lot. Everything. Everywhere. All at once. You know, I never forget the time I was at a Christmas party and I was talking to this guy who I met recently, and he said to me, "You seem like a really deep thinker, man." And I was like, clocked my T. Ain't that what they say? Truthfully, I would say, yeah. I think I am a deep thinker. I think I'm an introspective person. I think I'm pretty self-aware. I think a lot of that has to do with me being an only child and like having to sit in the confines of this room for the past 23 years with nothing to do but think about everything. I think that's where a lot of like the poetry came from, just me being like really introspective about stuff. I actually found my old poetry book from like high school the other day, and I'm like, man, why were you so sad? But now I'm like, well, maybe I was just thinking really hard. Maybe I was just overthinking. I feel like a lot of us do that. We just overthink everything all the time. I can't tell you how many social interactions I've overthought before the moment, in the moment, and after the moment. Like sometimes I'm like, man, you probably should have just spoke to that person. Especially when it's a girl. I'm like, all right, bro. Sometimes you just gotta do it. I even do it like when I'm messaging people or texting people. I'm overthinking like crazy. I gotta cut that out. But every once in a while, I'll feel real good about myself, and I'll be like, you know what? I'm gonna message. I'm gonna DM that girl. And then she doesn't open it, or she opens it and leaves me on scene, and then I overthink everything again. It's a vicious cycle, but it's definitely something that we all do. So how do we really get out of it? I think more recently I've kind of been in a space of where I'm like, man, I don't really care what people think about me anymore, so why am I even thinking about it? If I don't care and they don't care, what is there to think about? I mean, even my therapist told me, he was like, dude, no one is thinking that hard about what you're doing. And I'm like, you're right, but I think they are. Like, I really think they are. And it's a weird space to be in when you can acknowledge something and still be like, nah. Your brain's like, nah, you're wrong, dude. They're thinking about you really hard. They're thinking about every move you make, every step you take. I know I'm already an awkward person, but like in high school, I used to feel so awkward walking through the hallways. I'm like, oh, people watching how I'm walking and how my arms are swinging by my side. What? Like, why? But now I'm definitely in a space of like, man, whatever, man. Like, I don't care if people think I'm cringe, because I know I'm cringe. I don't care what people think about me. I'm just gonna be me. I'm just gonna be Isaiah, because that's all I can really do. It's just be me. Boo boo. I feel like I used to be in that space like a long time ago, like before high school, like when I was in middle school, maybe a little bit before middle school, but a long time ago when I was younger, I feel like I was in that space of like, man, who cares? I'm just gonna do me. I don't really care about none of this stuff. And then I got to high school and things started to matter a little bit. They didn't really matter. They started to matter a little bit. And I kind of lost that sense of like, I can just be me. Now I had to be like everybody else. Because I'm just overthinking everything. I'm thinking too hard about what people think about me, if people actually care about what I'm doing. Because they really don't. And if they do, then that's kind of weird. Because like, why are you that interested in what I'm doing? Like I said, I'm just kind of in this space where I feel like most people's opinions on me don't really matter, except for the people that I'm really like close to and care about. Ain't really anything you can say to me that is gonna bother me anymore. Maybe it's just because I'm older now, you know. I'm old, right? Even though like this girl, my little girl in my church one time, she was like, I was like, I'm 23, and she was like, wow, you got your whole life ahead of you. Hmm. She's right, but like, what are you trying to say? Maybe just because I'm older now, I don't know, but I just don't really care. I remember when I used to tell people like I didn't care about stuff when I was younger, and they used to be like, "Oh, that's weird. Why don't you care about anything? You should care." And I was thinking about it, like, dang, I really should care. Probably, I didn't have to care. The way people perceive you is whatever. Honestly, you know, you just gotta do your own thing. Especially when you're doing something creative. Like people are gonna have all types of opinions about you. They're gonna think of like a million different ways about you. And if you let that bother you, or you really take that into account, then you're not gonna do what you really want to do. right? You're gonna sit there and be like, man, is this good enough? You're gonna sit there and be like, man, are people gonna like this? Who cares? Who cares? Who cares what they think? I only care what you think. I only care what I think. You should only care what you think, and I only care what I think. How about that? And for me, like I said, I'm always constantly thinking about stuff. That's why it's so hard for me to fall asleep. But because I'm thinking so much and all the time about a bunch of stuff, that's kind of part of the reason I wanted to start a podcast in the first place. I know the homies were like, didn't you say you didn't like podcasts before? Yes. God forbid a brother change his mind. But I also knew in my mind I wasn't going to do it if it was like the rest of the podcast that I saw. I didn't want it to be that way. So for me, doing what I'm doing now is not only fulfilling creatively, but fulfills my need to yap. Because there's a lot of stuff going on up here all the time, and I need to like get it out. That's also why I kind of like this format of how I'm doing YouTube videos now. I think the last actual YouTube video I made, which was like in February, wow, on like Valentine's Day, wow, it was a similar format where I did like a short film, poem, whatever, some cinematic video beforehand, and then just kind of yapped about what the topic of that video was afterhand. Can you say afterhand? But I like that format. I feel like it feels good for me. I enjoy doing it, so I'm gonna keep doing it. In conclusion, as if this was an essay, it's okay to think. It's good to have a lot of thoughts all the time. Not like thoughts, but like thoughts, It's okay to yap, because this is what I'm doing right now. This video really has no format, I stopped this video already and was like, this has no format. This is stupid. People are not going to care about this. And then I was like, isn't this exactly what I'm talking about in the video? Like, what? Only care about the opinions of people closer to you. Yeah, just let your mind go. Let's let your mind wander, especially if you're creative. So that's going to be it for me. Let me know down below in the comments what you're thinking about. Don't do that. I don't really care.